I know we've gone on a lot about Elon and Twitter recently, but I really do think Elon is a good guy with everything that he's doing. And like Carl spoke about yesterday, he is our guy. He's on our side. But I'm not just saying that because he's making, abstract gestures to free speech or anything like that. It's because he's actively punishing our enemies. That's what I think makes him our side.
Not just our enemies, but people who deserved punishing. I mean, we're engaging in terrorism across the country for several years under Donald Trump.
Yes. He has made sure they break the rules first, but the fact is these people have got away with breaking the rules for a decade at this point.
They've been
So
Molotoving police officers and then posting videos of them saying it was a good thing.
And Jack Dorsey was sat aside going, yes, this is acceptable on my platform, thank you. But he is still actively punishing them. And Antifa is what we're talking about here, and Elon's anti-Antifa action. They've been using Twitter for a really, really long time to organise. The establishment has been more than happy to use them as basically a soft enforcer for the regime, as I refer to it as. So it's when they don't want the police to be actively enforcing crazy BS like Drag Queen Story Hour. So what they do is they just let Antifa enforce it instead as a soft intimidation tactic. And they will beat you up. They will try and shoot you. They will try and kill you, like they did to Andy No, just for taking photographs of their faces when they do the exact same thing constantly. And there's a thing there, which is if you don't think Antifa is absolutely filled with feds who are more than approving of what they do, I've got a bridge to sell you, because you can just go into a search engine and type in Antifa FBI informants, and instead of getting anything relevant to that search, what you will instead get is articles like this, talking about how the FBI reportedly had up to 8 informants in the Proud Boys on January 6th. So they're more than happy to let you know that, don't worry, we're working on those evil, far-right, reactionary, conservative hate groups. But they don't want, if there is any involvement in Antifa, which there absolutely will be, they don't want you to know, because in 1971, for instance, there was still the Black Panthers was still around, and I found figures talking about that in 1971, around 22% of the Black Panthers were informants, which made up 156 of the total 710 members.
5 guys in a room, one of them's a Fed.
Exactly that. So if it's anything like that with Antifa, which I wouldn't expect it not to be, that just means that whatever Antifa is doing is approved by the establishment, which has just been obvious for a long time. And if you'd like to know more about Antifa and the tactics they use, and especially how they've been using Twitter to organise a lot, you should check out this premium tea time we did with Andy No. This was well before I was part of here. And you should also read this. We did a book club on it. And if you want some great info from here, I wrote it down, so some great figures just to give you an indication of the problem as it was. So between 2005 2019, only one public figure banned on Twitter was left-wing. Every single other public figure was right-wing. And just some direct quotes. Most high-profile accounts can evade terms of service violations by retweeting or sharing a post made by someone else. The throwaway account that releases someone else's address and phone number or a venue's contact information for an event might get banned, but the individuals massively amplifying the information for purposes of harassment are not. On Twitter, groups like Rose City Antifa release long threads identifying attendees of right-wing public rallies. So this is just random people, you decide, I don't like the idea that my children are being indoctrinated at schools. You decide to go and wave a few placards outside the school for a few hours. Antifa are going to take photos of you. Then they're going to use, weaponized autism to track down who you are, where you work, who you're identified with, who you're married to, so they can intimidate you or just beat the ever-loving S out of you. And he carries on as well, saying one of the strategies is to issue community alerts on Twitter and chat rooms on the real-time physical whereabouts of a particular person or group. This is called cyber swarming. The target can be any person they accuse of being a cop or a fascist, which is literally anybody who isn't radically left-wing. The tweets usually use a hashtag that begins with defend, and then the city name, for example, #defendPDX is used for Portland targets. So Twitter has been allowing this to happen. It's been something they've been more than comfortable with going on their platform, and Elon, after taking it over, has not been happy about this and has actually been actively going against this and trying to remove these accounts, which has got people like the AOL and lots of other publications talking about Elon Musk's engagement with the far right on Twitter. It's out of control! Can you believe this? Elon Musk doesn't want terrorists on his platform promoting their terrorist activities, and they're like, far right.
Madness.
Far right, because don't you understand he invited former President Trump back onto the platform? Ooh, and he started one riot, maybe.
There are literally people on Twitter who engaged in shootings and Molotovings from Antifa.
Yep.
I mean, you've seen the video. I mean, they committed several murders
Yep.
in that year. I mean, you know the one in Portland where he just gunned a guy in the head.
Yep.
And they got
Well,
an
he was a
interview with
fascist.
Vice. Well, you remember I got the interview with Vice. Vice were like, well, let's hear your side. Well, you know,
When somebody think of the poor murderers.
got a cheap gun and I pulled the trigger. It was a...
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Callum obviously being a complete fascist right there and questioning well, that's how the
I'm
media...
not pro-murder, yeah.
There you go. Just like the fascists were. And one of the funny things is that it's not just been Antifa, it's been other people who we don't approve of. For instance, here we get the serfs complaining that at the beginning of the month, Ethan Klein, lolcal extraordinaire, had been banned because of the fact that he'd tried to present himself as Elon Musk on Twitter, and Elon was like, can't do that. Can't do that. Parody accounts, if you're trying to parody someone, unless you're actively... if you're stealing someone's identity, that's not right. If you don't have parody in the bio or in the name, that's not right either.
I think it needed it in the bio and the name.
Yeah, he had it in the banner, but that wasn't enough. And the serfs and other such leftists online are complaining about it. I mean, you get what you deserve, Ethan. You get what you deserve, because he was just pretending to be Elon Musk and talking about how, I'm big friends with Jeffrey Epstein, fan of that sort of stuff. It's ridiculous. And the serfs...
All of your heroes, mate, certainly weren't.
Yeah, the serfs can't take rules being applied to their side when he tweeted out saying that Ethan Klein and Noah Samson are both banned while every neo-Nazi and transphobe under the sun gets their account back, Twitter 2.0. I mean, if that's how you want to put it, yeah.
But also there's
glorious, isn't it?
But also general amnesty was issued, so I'm pretty sure Ethan can come back if he wants to any day.
He probably can, but he likes to play the victim card. He likes to play the victim card. Then we've got celebrity morons like Alyssa Milano saying, is this the freedom of speech you want, Elon Musk? How about copyright infringement as well? Is that fine by you too? This was in response to this image, John, if you just scroll down so we can see it. Of...
Is this your free speech?
Yes! Yes, it is. I can't speak for Elon, but I'm pretty sure the answer to both of those questions would be yes. This is absolutely fine.
It's a very bad Photoshop with a woman holding a sign saying, my vagina smells like cat piss.
In the Handmaid's Tale outfit, and that's Alyssa Milano's face. So she's very mad, which is very good by me. And then Ethan Klein's wife also got suspended because he decided to tweet out a picture of himself tweeting from her account, which is a clear ban evasion. And that got taken down immediately. Congratulations, Ethan.
But the rules don't apply to me.
Yeah, the rules don't apply. And that's the thing, though, which is that Ethan, for a long time, ever since he made his heel turn and became a leftist, has been, rubbing the fact that the rules don't apply to him in a lot of people's faces, especially on Twitter. And now, whenever the rules do get applied to him, they whine, they complain, and sadly, on places like YouTube, where he's good friends with Susan, he still can be an idiot. He still can get away with whatever he wants. Because this clip has been going around recently of him once again making a joke, which he's made before, which has got him in trouble, and he just doesn't care. He just doesn't care, because he's like a child who was never disciplined. He's like a child who was never told, no, you can't do that. That's stupid. He looks like a child who thinks he's getting away with something very, very naughty. So just play the clip so we can hear what he says.
We have to do whatever we can to protect the kids. And if that means shutting down the entire Catholic Church and bombing Vatican City.
That's not good.
Like, did you see his producer Dan's face there?
Yeah, it's
the
obviously
face
a
of,
joke, but that doesn't matter on YouTube. And that's why his producer is sat there going,
Ethan, you've done this before, man, for God's sakes. But on Twitter, though, he got. And that's a great thing. But then let's move on to the more specific...
Well, it's a great thing that the rules that apply to us plebs also apply to him.
Well, yes, that the rules are being applied evenly. But I just think Ethan Klein being punished is a good thing in general.
You're just against Schadenfreude.
Yes, I absolutely am over this. And Elon has started banning Antifa accounts as well. Like I said, Andy No has been fantastic, as always, on reporting on these things. He tweeted out on November 24th saying that LA Antifa member Chad Loader, who freaked out over Elon Musk expressing support for the removal of paedophilic accounts, has had his account suspended, although it's unclear if it's permanent. The suspension appears to be for a ban evasion over his alt at Masks for Docs. So he's started to just, take care of things by applying the rules that should have applied to everyone from the start. And people also started to point out, like this from Rams Paul, saying that Twitter is reportedly nuking pedo accounts. This is eliminating much of Antifa Twitter. Big coincidence. Big coincidence that the two of those groups would just overlap so easily. And Elon's very proud of this. In the responses, he was saying that removing child exploitation is priority number one. We've covered this before. And he says, please reply in the comments if you see anything that Twitter needs to address. And Andy, being right on the money and right on the ball as usual, just responds to it saying a large number of Antifa accounts operate on Twitter to promote riots, give tips on how to commit violent crimes, and post names, photos, and addresses of targets plus their family members. To which Elon says, incitement to violence. Well, that'll result in account suspension, as it always should have. And Jack Dorsey and others just decided not to. Parag Agrawal was perfectly fine with all of this, and Elon Musk is like, no incitement to violence on my platform, please.
Yeah, actual crimes are illegal.
Yes, crime's bad. Shockingly enough, Elon takes the extreme, sensible, centrist position.
Elon's like, I support the law. I'm on Law FC.
And as such, Andy's been doing a fantastic job in starting to post things to this thread to report Antifa rule breaking, because he said, how do you best inform Twitter of these violations? I've been reporting specific accounts for years, and pretty much all of them remain. Last year, Antifa used Twitter to direct comrades to swarm me after I ran into a hotel following a violent street beating. Elon was like, that's messed up, bro. That's very disturbing, concerning that Twitter took no action despite clear violation of terms of service, reporting this thread for now. And that's what Andy's been doing. He's like, oh, thanks. And here you go in the next one. Because he immediately got to work on it, saying, well, here's one straight away. Crime Incorporated, an Antifa collective, full mask off name, makes riot guides, text to radicalize people into criminal militancy, and propaganda that's shared via Twitter for people to distribute. They've claimed a number of attacks and give instructions on how to form cells, what riot gear to bring, etc. And if you just hover over the name of that account there for me, John, suspended. Simple as. Easy peasy. And he posted...
Crime FC.
Yeah.
Sorry, Law FC.
Law FC.
Not on Crime
point.
FC.
Yeah. And he wasn't done, because he just kept tweeting all these different accounts at him. He's saying, well, you've suspended these. Well, they've got a bunch of other accounts as well that you can also get
German,
on right
French,
there.
Spanish, Polish, Italian, Czech.
Yeah, you can eliminate this branch of Antifa from the account, from the site forever, because even if they're able to move to different websites and be able to, organize through there, Twitter is still the big one. Twitter is the one with the most reach. Twitter's the one that they've...
Regardless, either way, crime bad.
Yeah, crime bad. Is good to get rid of this stuff. If more platforms started to do this thing, I think Antifa would be not as much of a problem as they are. And his most recent addition, because he has been doing it, continuing to do it, was like 10, 11 hours ago, pointing out one of the far left accounts that incite violent and share extremist propaganda, is IGD News. They publish claims of responsibility, such as the domestic terrorist case where militants tried derailing trains. They were convicted. IGD instructs new members on how to destroy evidence as well. All bad things. And I've checked through some of the other ones that he's tagged. Some of the other ones that he's tagged so far have not yet been banned or suspended off of the account. But I imagine Elon, being how he is probably working towards some greater system to be able to monitor this so that he can just nip it at the bud. I imagine he'll get back to these. So if you're interested in trying to prevent, terrorists plotting evil things on Twitter,
such as Molotoving the police, throwing IEDs at a courthouse, shooting innocent people in the street.
Other such mostly peaceful acts, yes.
Yeah. I saw someone in the chat, so I thought Millwall FC was Crime FC, and it's like, no, you've been outdone. You've been very much outdone.
There you go. Well, if you can find this thread and start tweeting other examples at it, and hopefully Elon will see it and get rid of those. And Antifa had their own response to this, which was quick, pathetic, and useless, which is where they threatened violent protests at Tesla dealerships in Portland. Portland Antifa planned arsenal...
Hang on.
Yeah, go on.
This doesn't work, because we remember that, what was it? There was that dealership, the car dealership, second-hand one, that had Black Lives Matter on its like boards, so everyone could see. So when you drive up, that's all you see. And they still burn every car in the lot.
Yeah,
So there's no point.
But they planned arson attacks at Tesla locations on Friday night after he started suspending the accounts that called for violence. A man called Ash Redacted posted, "Tonight in Portland, every city, every town. Show up at your local Tesla dealerships in protest of Elon Musk. This will be a thread with other flyers that pop up in other notable Tesla locations across the so-called US." The image posted by him showed a Tesla ablaze and read, "F Elon Musk. The fascist Elon Musk has chosen his side in history, aligning with fascists and white supremacy. So tonight we are calling for actions across the so-called US." They think that's really clever, just calling it the so-called US.
I just say it's very low-energy Soviet propaganda.
It really is. I mean, where's the glory? Where's the pomp and pageantry of it? I don't see any glorious statues being built.
The United States, so-called. Stop.
But we need to go to every local Tesla dealership tonight. And as far as I can tell, nothing happened. They didn't go to the dealerships unless I've been missing something completely. I heard no follow-up on this, except for this, when Andy gave an update saying that the account that started spreading that, Ash Redacted, got immediately suspended. Elon just, bam, on the money. He's got the ban hammer, and it seems he's very happy to use it if you break the rules.
Crime.
Which is always a good thing. And now the activists are whining, they're crying, they're saying, "Oh, he's banning anti-fascist accounts on Twitter. This means he's a fascist." And this is just, if anything, in this Newsweek article, a nice little roundup of some of the other ones he's done. So Stephen Monicelli, an independent journalist, reported on Tuesday that the group Elm Fork John Brown Gun Club, a leftist group based in Texas that volunteers as armed protection for LGBTQ events, like I said, if they don't want the police doing it, they're just more than happy to let these violent extremist leftist group do it for them, had been suspended after breaking Twitter's content rules. And on Wednesday, clinical instructor at Harvard Law School, Alejandro Caraballo, who we've covered before on the podcast, reported Chad Loader had been suspended, like we pointed out earlier.
Notice that none of the Antifa guys have changed their behaviour.
No, of course
all
not.
this changed the regime. And terrorism is actually bad.
Well, that's the thing. This is why this is all good news, because it means that it's going to make it far more difficult, and it would be really nice if other platforms started to do this, but Twitter doing it is a fantastic start. Make it far more difficult for actual violent extremist groups to anonymously organise. Elon showed it's really simple. If you have the power, just use it. Just say no.
You have to make sure that you're not motivated by leftist nonsense. Otherwise,
well, yeah, that's the thing.
That's
but
the crux.
We've got so many people who have been in power, who supposedly weren't leftists, who were in positions to do stuff like this, and they were just like, "No, I won't. No, I won't do it." Whereas Elon's like, "No, all you have to do is just do it." So thank you very much, Elon, for trying in your own little way to make the US and other countries who are also infected by Antifa a safer place, and keep up the good work.
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as the premium podcast we do, this one on Debate Might As Well Be Dead, because of Calvin Robinson's interactions. And if you want to find out what else we're putting out, you can follow us on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you, and goodbye.